48, 54, 58. That's interesting. Hello everybody, welcome to another What's in the Bag. I'm Jeremiah and I'm here with Dub. Dub's one of our fitters, long time employee. How long have you been here, Dub?
About 11 years.
11 years, yeah. So long time employee here, long time fitter. If you've been in the shop, you've probably met Dub. He's just a great personality, fun guy to be around. What's your handicap?
So my index today is probably like a 6.
6?
I just played.
Now folks, that's a 6. So if you're like the rest of us, he's probably an 8, right?
Yeah,
we always fudge it a little bit.
Yeah, I always try to get a few extra shots, but
No, you played around a 6, right?
I mean, I usually shoot anywhere between like 76 and 86, just depending on the day.
And handicaps,
they
it's a little bit
fluctuate.
they fluctuate. It's a little bit complicated. It's really based on what you're capable of shooting.
Yeah, it is.
Right, so it's not like you're just your average score.
And the worst thing is if you tell somebody you're a 10 and then you go out and shoot 76 or something and you win all the money, or you take down the game and everybody's calling you a sandbagger, that's not a good way to go either.
Right.
But I'm kind of unhandicappable in the sense that I can put together a good round,
right.
but I can also go the other way and just hit it all over the planet.
Basically your average golfer that doesn't get to play as much as we want. So, but you've got some skill. You know, you can walk out one day and play really well, and another day you wish you hadn't even stepped on the course.
There was a time with the pro, we played 36 in one day, and I shot 74, 89 in the same day on the same course with the same people. So, I mean, anything's possible.
Yep, anything's possible. And so, yeah, we're gonna see what's going on in your bag today, Dub. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're
doing another one of these.
It's top secret.
It's top secret. Well, we're gonna find out what the secret is here, the secret sauce to your game. So what you got? We'll just start at the top and work our way down today.
All right, well, I always kind of cater to the Titleist clubs. They seem to fit me real well. We'll start with the driver and we'll kind of work down. I play the Titleist TSR2 driver. I got it at 9 degrees. I've got it set at A4, which adds a little bit of loft to it. But the game changer for me this year is I put this graphite design VF6X in it, which is a really stiff, low flighting shaft with the added loft and the stiffer shaft in the hands and the tip. I'm able to keep the spin down like I was telling you before we started. I've never hit a driver straighter in my life than I am this year.
That's great. Yeah, and a little bit, I don't want to say odd, but maybe kind of bucking the trends is titanium. Just titanium everywhere. We're seeing so much composite.
Everybody seems to think carbon is the answer to all your problems. Like TaylorMade for years, it was all titanium. Callaway can't make a driver, carbon's no good, it's got to be tie.
Yeah.
And then in 2016, they make their driver carbon.
Yep.
And now they have a carbon face in their driver.
Yeah, so pretty much everybody's. I mean, TaylorMade's carbon face.
I think outside of Ping and Titleist, it's pretty much.
Yeah,
carbon.
there's carbon somewhere. It's in the crown, it's in the sole, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, and I kind of like that.
Full
it gives
titanium.
You that classic feel. You know, I can tell when I hit it.
The
and when
sound.
I miss it.
Yeah, you really keep that classic sound. It is one of the nice. I mean, just one of the really nice things about Titleist drivers that you keep that classic sound.
Yeah, and the
look.
look
Is
the
beautiful.
look is classic from the top, but it also sounds like a golf club.
Yep, and they got the cog system that's really nice.
And they've had it for years. You know, a lot of companies, they'll change it every couple of years. So you got a shaft you really like.
Yep.
You buy the new driver, you can't put the shaft in, you got to change the adapter. Titleist has been the same since 2010. They just don't change it. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Great club. Titleist always one to consider, and not just for the better players either. You know, they make different models for a reason.
Yeah,
TSR2.
That's kind of a stigma, you know. Everybody thinks, they had that motto: better players, better golfers.
Yeah.
But to be honest, they make something for everybody. They've got T400 irons, which are huge. They've got a TSR1 driver, which is extremely lightweight for the lady and the senior. And then they've got the 2, which is kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, two kind of fits the majority of people, probably.
I played a 3 for a long time, and going to the 2, I noticed a ton more forgiveness. I can kind of hit it where I want to still, but when I hit the ball, I'm still in play, which is pretty important to me.
Exactly. All right, where you go to, I see some more Titleist head covers here.
So I've got, piggybacking off the driver, I've got a 3-wood in the Titleist TSR2 as well. This has a graphite design DI or a TP7X in it, which is new this year for me. I really like this shaft in my fairway wood. Chris Bosch was giving me some guff about it. He's a TP in the fairway, and it's mid-flight, mid-spin, and it loads up great for a 3-wood. I don't usually play a 3-wood a whole lot in a round, but when the driver kind of goes array or on the longer par 5s, it's nice to have something to hit at the green. I really like it. It's set at A1, which is standard. And it's been really good.
And it does fit. I mean, as we get through your bag here, you'll see it does fit. Like if you're trying to keep to that 14 club limit, you know, a 3-wood is the one that a lot of people will drop because, like you said, you don't necessarily use it a lot. It's nice to have in the bag when you can. But it's fun to see again how people build their bag. Again, when we're keeping to that 14 club, don't always have to do that. A lot of you probably don't, and that's fine. Right. But if you're sticking to the 14, kind of watch as we go through here how Dub does that. To keep a club in the bag, like he said, he doesn't use it a lot, but it comes in useful when he does need it. So, all right, TSR2 3-wood. Where do we go from there?
So then I've got the matching TSR 2 5-wood as well with the same shaft. Now this is new for me this year. I hadn't played a 5-wood in a number of years. I'd been kind of tinkering with the utility iron and then going to like, oh, do I play a 3 hybrid, or just trying to fill that gap from like that 220 to 240 range. And this seems to do it. You know, I really like it. I watched a little YouTube clip about Tiger hitting 5-woods out of the rough, and I thought, you know, he might be onto something. Maybe I'll try one. So I took one out to the range here, and I ended up hitting it really well. I put it in the bag, and immediately it's become one of my favorite clubs in my set. I hit it way better than the 3-wood, and I don't sacrifice a ton of distance. So I think anybody that struggles like to hook a hybrid like I do, you know, when I try to overswing it, I hook it. So if I'm carrying a 3 hybrid and I'm trying to get 240 out of it, I have to swing at it, right? And then I end up losing it left, and I hate that. So this has been really good for me this year. 5-woods, 7-woods, you know, maybe not 9-woods quite so much. They're still around, but the higher loft of fairway woods, we're seeing more and more of those, selling a lot more and more of those. And because of that higher loft, like you said, you actually can outperform, or at least give you what you need. It's a better option than the 3-wood most times. Yeah, most times. Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's easier to hit. It's got a shorter shaft in it.
Matched up the shaft. Yeah, shorter shaft, more control. All right. So driver, kind of traditional. Driver, 3-wood, 5-wood.
Yeah, I went back to that this year, and I'm really happy I did. I've played quite a bit. I was on vacation out in Hilton Head, so I got to play with these clubs quite a bit this year already. And it's been a pretty good setup with the 3 and the 5.
So now you told me before we got started where we're going next.
Yeah, so
hiding under the TSR head cover here, hybrid cover.
At first sight, you would think this is a Titleist hybrid, which is cool. Because I take a lot of guff.
I'll let you do the reveal.
Everybody always says, you know, oh, you work at Maple and you play that hybrid, why don't you have something newer? And for me, if you have a club you trust, you know, you should never change it unless you can find something better. And I've tried, you know, a number of different hybrids, and I can't seem to beat out this old Nike Vapor Fly hybrid. It's got a Tensi 80 gram extra stiff in it, Tensi blue. It sits good on the ground. I can hit it off of tight lies. I can hit it out of the rough. It's a 4. And I don't know, when I went out to Palm Springs with the pro, we played a ton of golf, and this is the only club I had in my bag, and I made 2 eagles out there.
Well, we were talking about your putter before we got started.
Yeah.
About that hardest 6 inches in golf right between years, right? And we talk about the putter with that a lot, but it really applies to any club in the bag. Like you said, if you got it and trust it, confidence is a big thing.
That's
standing over the ball.
Like if I'm standing over the ball and I've got, you know, a 220-yard shot into the green, I know the 5-wood's probably going to be too much. I know a 5 iron's going to come in really low. Probably not with the spin I'm looking for, but the hybrid, and especially this Nike Vapor Fly hybrid, I can hit it right at the pin. I really like it. Until I can find something that beats it out, it's going to be staying in the bag.
Judgment here. It's maybe good for a little laugh, but yeah, you use what works, folks.
So going off of that, I jump into my iron set, which I play the Titleist T200s.
And you're 5-through pitch on those.
I'm 5-through pitching wedge in these. I got rid of the 4 iron a couple years ago. I just didn't hit it very well, not as well as my hybrid, especially into the green. So, you know, it's good if I get under a tree or something, but outside of that, I just wasn't using it.
And which really, for most people, that because the lofts are a lot stronger than they used to be, even the 3-iron disappeared a while ago. Even
Yeah.
the 4-iron is starting to kind of go away.
For me, most guys I'm fitting, you know, unless you're a great ball striker with a lot of club head speed, I'm not usually, you know, fitting for a lot of 4-irons.
Yeah.
It's usually a 5-through because it's just what you said. When the 5-iron loft is that what a 4-iron was, you know, 10
used
years
to be 10
ago.
years. Yeah, exactly.
So what does it really matter
Yeah.
what the number on the club says? You got to kind of
Yep.
go by the lofts. For me, I play this KBS Tour shaft in here. It's a shaft I've played for years and years. I've tried other stuff. This seems, we were talking about it before we started. This seems to be a good feel for me. I like the flight of it, and I just like how it feels loading up and unloading.
Yeah, and T200's kind of the, we'll call it the middle, like your mid-handicap iron.
Yeah,
offering from Titleist.
It's decent because it looks like a T100 from the top almost, right?
Yeah,
like
so
on
you
the
get a little
older,
thinner,
on the older
top
models
line.
of the T200, the only knock I had on them was I could see the back on the shorter stuff, like the 8-9 pitch. I could see the back of it. On these, they did a nice job of disguising that. So it's a hollow body forged iron.
Yep.
And you can't see the back of it. So if I set that down next to a T150 or a T100, which is their player iron, you can't really tell the difference from looking at it at address, but you can certainly tell the difference from striking it at
So
impact.
the comfort over the ball just from looking at it.
Yeah.
Right? We're back to that kind of confidence.
Yep.
What does it look like to me? But the added forgiveness versus going
The miss
to
hits
more
were
of the blade
so much
iron.
better on that iron for me. For then, like you know, for years I tried to play something I was probably, you know, a little underskilled to be playing, but I'd play it just because, oh yeah, I'm playing the T100 or the AP2s. And for me, like, you know, I'm old enough now, like I just turned 40. I'm old enough now where like, I'm not worried about that. I want something I can hit and trust. And like, you know, from hitting them on the range when I got fit for them and like trying them out, it wasn't even close. I hit them like, I don't, you know, 10 times better than like a T100.
Yeah.
The miss hits were so much better.
Yeah.
The height was so much better.
It's funny, as we get older, we're kind of forced to take the ego out of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? We like the ego in the game. We want to play the, you know, the blades. It's harder to hit stuff. But age kind of takes its toll and it's like, yeah, you were back off the ego a bit. Yeah,
man,
exactly right.
You got to play what you can play.
Yeah, so as club head speed slow down, you're going to move into something more forgiving a lot of times.
Yeah.
Easier to get the ball in the air. You know, maybe we're not as good as we used to be.
Well, golf's hard enough. Why
Yeah.
are we making the game harder than what it needs to be?
Exactly right. And that's what I like about your setup as I look at it. You could play something a lot more forgiving. You don't need to, right? You're a good enough ball striker. You don't need to do that. But you're also not doing anything in here that's making the game harder than it has to be for you.
Right. I did that for years, and I'm just done doing that.
Good deal. All right, so 5-through pitch. Now, and I commented before we got started, 3 wedges, which is kind of normal past your pitching wedge, but your lofts are a little different.
Yeah.
How you've got them gapped. Tell us about that.
In this T200 set, the pitching wedge is 43 degrees. So last year, you know, I played a 50, a 56, and a 60. And a lot of people say, well, you jumped 6 degrees. And for me, it was all about yardage. You know, where am I running into yardages on the course?
Absolutely.
I don't care if they're 10 yards apart, but if I'm always running into 120 and I don't have a wedge I can hit 120, then I'm running into problems, right? So this year I did things a little different. I went 48, 54, 58. And I've got the Titleist SM10 Vokies, new this year. I custom stamped them.
Yep.
You know,
which we can order, we can custom order wedges.
You can customize them any way you want them. I really like my 58. It's an M grind. It's stamped Lil Floppa, which I really like. But it's nice. I like the way it sits on the ground. It's easy to get up and down from greenside bunkers. And it's also good from like 100 yards and in, right?
Yeah, so you're 5 degrees from pitch to your gap wedge, if you want to call it that. 6 degrees to the next one.
It comes down to yardage
4,
for me.
Exactly. So that's real important to consider, and double help you out. We're doing fittings. We offer wedge fitting.
The biggest problem people have with wedges is they think they have to go 52, 56, 60 or 50, 54, 58. That in my experience, like if I play a 52, 56, 60, I run into this shot that's 120 yards that I can't quite get there with a 56, and a 50 is too much.
Yep.
So then I'm constantly like having to nestle down, or I'm trying to throttle it and it just doesn't work.
Which probably isn't good. And it's normally not the right idea.
So you take a rangefinder out and you find how far you hit everything, like to the tee. And then for me, you know, like the 48's great for, you know, 125, 130. The 54 is great from like, you know, 80 all the way to like 110. ish, and then the 58 is kind of my finesse club around the green.
Yeah.
So if I've got 110 to 120, there's still a little bit of a gap there, but I can kind of make it work with what I got.
Yeah, so lots of creativity, especially in the short game area. There's just so much creativity you can do with what clubs, lofts, bounces, all sorts of things.
I would just tell people this, you know, you have to figure out what your yardages you're running into mostly on the golf course and get wedges that fit that.
Yeah.
Don't worry so much about.
And that's it. Like, think about where you play all the time, like where you play most of your golf. You know, if you're playing a league every week, that's where you're playing most of your golf. You probably want to craft your game around that, not the, you know, the one trip you're going to take, you know, during the year, every 3 years. Think about the golf you're playing most of the time.
Exactly. So I had an 85-yard shot where I play most of my golf, right? All the time. And I had a 60-degree wedge and a 56. And the 60 wasn't quite enough to get there unless I kill it. And the 56 was just a little too much, right? So I thought, well, I'll go to a 58. I played twice out there this year. I've ran into 85 yards like 5 times. And every time it's like, even if it's right or left, the distance is right there with a full swing with the 58.
We're back to confidence again. Like, now I know I've got the club for this shot that I'm going to see all the time.
Absolutely.
All right, so speaking of your confidence, take us to the putter.
Oh, so the putter, I got this nice Ryu swag head cover from Kirk Perschbacher, who's been a customer of ours for a long time.
That's a cool head cover.
Great guy, brought me that. I love it. It's magnetic. I play this Mizuno M Craft putter. It's the double wide with a slant neck. Now, we were talking before this, every time it comes time to order new clubs or whatever, I'm kind of like you know, I love buying new stuff, and I like the latest and greatest, and especially in putters, I'm always looking for the shortcut, right? Give me something that works better than what I got. And every year I get a new putter, and every year I go back to this. For me, it doesn't look the greatest, but I'll tell you what, in terms of performance, I roll it really, really well. Mizuno makes a great putter. The feel is really great. And that's what separates it from like a Peretti or like an Odyssey or like anything of that for me. Like, I like how it's kind of firm off the face, and I like how it keeps the ball rolling end over end. Rev was giving me some stuff about my grip.
It's the only place I'm giving Dub a hard time in the bag here.
So like, it's beat up, and I tried to change it, and I purposely didn't cut it off.
That is not beat up.
I mean,
like,
it's wore out.
It's missing. It's missing grip.
Oddly enough, my fingers are like molded into it, so I know right where to hold it every time. And I'm not changing it, you know, anytime soon. I think in putting specifically, it's all about confidence and feel. I have to look over it, and when I get it in my hand, I have to feel comfortable. And this Mizuno really does it for me.
Regrip your clubs, folks. Regrip your clubs.
Yeah, don't take a page out of my book.
Maybe the one place that we wouldn't listen to Dove here. On the fitting.
It could probably be changed, but again, I'm kind of a mental midget in terms of golf sometimes. So whatever works, I don't always have to change that.
Whatever works. Whatever works. All right, Dub. How about Rangefinder?
Yeah, Rangefinder.
Carry one of those?
Yeah, I do. I've got it's a couple years old, but I really like it. I've got the Bushnell Pro X2. It was their high-end model, like, I don't know, probably 5 years ago. It's got slope on the side that flips on and off, and you can also change it from red to black, which you can do on the newer ones too. I like the red and black feature, and everybody, well, don't you just leave it in one? It's nice to turn the red on when it starts to get dark at night.
Especially when it's dark.
Yeah, and I want to get the pin still, and I can't really see the black. The red sticks out like a sore thumb. So I really like it. It's been good to me. I won't change it until it breaks. Or I took the magnet off of it because I had one in the past where I stuck it to the side of the cart and I left it on there.
Been there.
I'm just not responsible enough to do that. So I keep it in the cup holder, but I really like it.
Been there. All right. And then how about golf ball? What ball do you play?
Golf ball.
Because that's really another piece of equipment that we don't think about it that way, but it really is. It's another piece of equipment in your game.
So I play, I really like the Titleist Pro V1 left dash, Pro V1X left dash ball. It's really good. It's long off the tee. It's firmer off the club face, and I can get adequate spin around the greens. For me, I kind of, you know, everybody's got something they like. You know, do you want distance off the tee or do you want more spin around the green? For me, I always want a little more distance off the tee. So I'm always chasing a ball that's going to fly a little further. The other ball that I really, really like if I'm not buying Pro V1X left dash, I really like the Snell
Yeah.
The MTB, I think
MTB,
that's the MTB X and the
MTBX,
MTB
yep.
Black.
Yeah,
They're
played
both
that one.
fantastic. They're a little lower price than like a Titleist ball.
Yeah.
But Dean Snell, he was in on the inventing of the Titleist.
Of the Pro V1.
Yeah, the original. I mean, he was in the room, and I'm sure he had a lot to do with it. So that ball is really good for somebody who wants.
And we carry those too.
Yeah, we carry them, and the performance is pretty good.
Definitely one to consider for sure.
It's pretty good. I keep a sleeve of those in the bag if we're playing somewhere where I don't want to lose a bunch. But if I'm buying a sleeve off the rack.
Now, all this, you don't lose many golf balls, right, Dub?
Yeah, I can hit them out of bounds with the best of them for sure.
Good deal. Well, Dub, thanks so much. It was really fun to walk through the bag there. Nice Titleist stand bag here, too. Got his name on the back, just like every professional should.
Yeah.
That's right, Dub.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us, Dub. Thanks for watching. We've enjoyed having you here, enjoyed spending time with you, Dub. And we look forward to seeing you on the next What's in the Bag episode.